Hello fixers, Mark here in the cabin, the place where old electronics come to be reborn and my wallet comes to die. Today though, I've got something rather swish. The lovely people at Boulies have sent me their Master 502AF charcoal grey chair. And I've been using a chair that, well, let's just say it's so well used, even the cats refuse to sit on it. So this will be a welcome upgrade. I'm trying to make the cabin a bit more professional, not just me sat in a shed. Right, so let's get it open and see what bottom related wonders await.
Mark fixes stuff. So let's get this bad boy open. As regular viewers know, I'm out of cash, so when Boulies offered to send me a really nice chair, I was overjoyed. It's always exciting, this part. A bit like Christmas morning. Except I don't have to pretend I like socks or Barry Manilow LPs. There's some comprehensive instructions that I'll proceed to get wrong. It's nicely packed. Everything's well cushioned with nothing rattling around inside. Inside this smaller box, you get 5 wheels. The gas lift thing. 2 things that look like the sides of the arms. A pack of bolts and the Allen keys that will journey into the kitchen drawer of forgotten wonders. And I don't know. This looks like a head cushion. This is a really chunky backrest. Let's put that to one side. Some packing. The wheelbase for the chair, and this is made of some kind of cast metal, a real upgrade over plastic. This is the base of the chair, so let's open it up and look at the fabric. It's a really nice grey textured fabric. Some packing. Some packing. So let's flip this over and see where the holes are. Because Boulies were kind enough to send this chair, I'll be kind enough to use the tools they sent. If this was off camera, I'll be using an impact driver about now. Mind you, I use an impact driver on pretty much everything. The bolts and the machining on the chair are quite nice quality, with a bit more resistance going in and out of the holes that have fabric covering them. We'll pop on the left arm. I did check several times to make sure I got the right arm, because I'm not very smart. As you can see, there's a bit of latitude to move the arms in and out for people of different body shapes. That's really nice. Because I love the fact that you're watching my video, and I value your time as much as my own, whenever I'm doing a duplicate task, I'll speed up the video. And I won't be mucking about. If you're skilled like me, you can twiddle both at the same time for extra satisfaction. Zach's behind the camera today and he's wondering what the hell I'm doing. In fact, he just said, "What the hell are you doing?" So I told him I'm putting the bass on, and it's a weighty bass. I like big basses and I cannot lie. All your bass are belong to me. Unfortunately, I've made a bit of a mistake here and I'll tell you all about it. I forgot to put these spacers between the bass and the chair. I come back and do it later, so don't worry. I don't hide my mistakes on this channel. Well, the mundane ones I do take out, but the ones that people can learn from, I definitely leave in. As soon as I found a couple of O-rings, I became confused. But then I realised they're for a footrest, which is the unidentified thing that I saw at the beginning. There's these 2 channel things that need to be screwed in. And I did have a bit of trouble screwing these in because the fabric kind of covered the threads of the machine bolts, but I got there in the end. I really took my time to make sure that these were nice and tight, because I didn't want the footrest coming loose. The footrest was a bit of a minor head scratcher because it kind of flips around, so I had to unflip it to find out the way that it went upwards, if that makes sense. And then I slid both the poles into both the holes. And of course I did a sanity check to make sure that that was the right way for the footrest to be. With the poles in the holes, it was time to slide the rubbers onto the shaft. These are basically length limiters. They're there to stop your poles sliding out of the holes. Beautiful. This funky soundtrack made me feel like I was in Kung Fury, so naturally I became unnecessarily violent, just like we all did when we watched Jackie Chan movies in the late 80s. These wheels either go straight in, or they take a bit of persuasion. Get in the hole. With the fifth wheel in place, it's time to place the base on the floor of the place. Jace. Who's Jace? With the wheels and base assembled, we need to slide the gas lift cylinder inside the gas lift cover. Then pop it into our waiting hole. Then I need to grab the bottom of the chair and slip the bottom onto the pole. Once I get the pole lined up with the hole, it slips in with a small modicum of resistance. Lovely. Opening up the back, I realised that this might be more than a single person job. I started thinking of my strategy whilst I got rid of some packing. Again, grabbing my Boulies tool, I started undoing yet more bolts, and these ones are really long. Zach started getting a bit bored, so we tried to do some artistic shots. I think he pulled it off. I could have asked Zach to help me with this part, but I decided to do it on my own for the sake of the video, to see if it's possible to build the Boulies chair on your own. And it is, but what you have to do is make sure you get one bolt in one side, and then line up the bracket and put the top bolt in the other side. Once you've got those two in, it's actually fairly simple to get the other two bolts in. Just make sure you don't tighten them up all the way until all four bolts are in place. I am really missing my impact driver right about now. Once all four of the bolts are in, I tighten them up properly and drop the Allen key. Next, those two mystery pieces of plastic that were in the box are actually there to cover over the brackets that hold on the backrest. These are relatively easy to pop on with one bolt and make sure they're clipped in the bottom. The side panel then needs to be furnished with a plug. I love a good plug. Slips in so easily. Honest. And there we have it, fully built and looking rather posh for a cabin located on a boggy marsh. I love the look of it. A lot of premium chairs are gaudy things, made for gamers and inexplicably designed to look like racing car bucket seats. This has a touch of class and its grey shades will fit very well with the cabin. Oh, that's nice. First sit and my spine's sending me a thank you card. The 4D armrests rotate so that you can get the right angle for your arms. They also slide backwards and forwards and left and right so you can get the right angle for your arms. Of course, they also raise up and down with multiple stops along the way. I've got sciatica, so the two lumbar adjustments on the back on the left and right are really helpful for me. And weirdly, I didn't realise how much I needed 4D armrests until I tried them. Zach asked why they rotate, and I showed him. They're perfect for holding a controller. I'm sure that this chair can suit anybody. It certainly suits me. Comfort is an odd thing. Sometimes you don't know you want it or need it until you experience it. And let's not forget about that footrest. I was a bit worried that it would feel flimsy, but it doesn't. The adjustments took a bit of working out. Zach then told me to put the chair back. And once I'd worked that out, well, there was no stopping me. In fact, I almost baked an entire batch of trouser biscuits. One of the great things about getting older is it takes longer for fear to register on your face, so you often look braver than you are. Genuinely, I'm buzzing with this. New furniture for the cabin is rare because I'm usually spending every penny on old computers that explode for fun, and even that's on the back burner due to this new build. Having a proper, comfy grown-up chair is brilliant. Oh yeah. Massive thanks to Boulies for sending me the chair. Links are in the description. And a huge thanks to my patrons. You keep the cabin lights on and inspire me to keep going. As a patron, you get a whole array of exclusive benefits. For example, Early access to videos, which means you get to see my mistakes before I pretend they never happened. Behind the scenes posts where I heroically drop things, lose things, and occasionally fix things. Patron polls where you get to choose what nonsense I attempt next. And of course the warm glow of knowing you're supporting a grown man who still shouts at 8-bit computers. If you're already a patron, thank you from the bottom of my exhausted heart. And if you're not yet, feel free to join in. It's like a theme park but with more capacitors, loads of flux and far fewer health and safety guidelines. Patrons also get the magical ability to instantly know which remote control batteries are dead just by glaring at them. That might be a lie. Thank you, and bye.